Dip my oar and set afloat. I'm rowing away. Full moon tide in an open boat. I'm rowing away. Hitching a ride on a dusty skyway and AM radio playing. Do 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 do, row your boat gently across the sea. And when the moon goes, does it cry and say goodbye when it goes away? Where my boat rolls, should I cry and say goodbye when I go away? When I roll away. Set the mains and raise the jib. I'm blowing away. Outward turning, I'm looking in. I'm blowing away. Caught a smile curling on my rosy cheeks. Oh my, how my plans have changed. Do 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 do, sailing away. And when the moon goes, does it cry and say goodbye when it goes away? Where my sail blows, should I cry and say goodbye when I go away? When I blow. Away.
So there's a few aspects to that. There's the quality of knowing that the people are really invested both in you and in what you can learn and where you can explore, and then also invested in making sure that you have a safe experience. So I think that that's always been my goal from what I've learned at the C School is to, in whatever way I can, to kind of like try to always provide a safe environment for people. And whether that's like actually in my personal life when I'm interacting with people or like when I'm running an art program. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in a wilderness adventure. It can be in any place where people are going to be vulnerable. And the fact of the matter is you're vulnerable all the time as a human being. Like we wish we were less sensitive, but it's just not true. So then I think maybe what I learned from the C School is how good it feels to feel like you can actually rely on your crewmates. So I would say like the reason that the C School is so good at teaching that is because on a boat you are part of a crew. And if the crew starts dysfunctioning, it's really obvious right away. And if you have, and basically on a small boat like the Dorothea, which is 30 feet long, and you have 12 people in it, you have like, 2 square feet per person. You're right on top of each other. You're very aware of what's going on, and you can't get away from your own actions.
Right.
So if people are treating you with respect and you're treating people with respect, it's very fulfilling because you just get to ingest back what you put out there, and if what you put out there is really negative and so forth, then that's what you get back. But for the most part, it's somehow, and we talk about it as the container principle a lot of the time, the fact that it's such a small container and then set within the ocean and the wind, which are such like large forces, it really kind of brings out the best of a desire to actually stick up for one another and like help each other out. So it does seem to be the case from reports from our participants, and definitely was my experience as a participant myself when I was younger, is that there's a sense that you're really valuable and you're really necessary and you're part of a crew. And then as an instructor, part of what you feel like as, the C School family is that there's 2 instructors running the trips and you're each other's you got each other's backs all the time, and it's such hard work to be both, you know, logistically on in terms of like making sure that you're providing a safe experience for these kids in terms of like knowing what's going on, you know, like with the wind and the tide and the rocks and this and that and the other, and then also paying attention to the social dynamics of what's going on, so that if people are being mistreated or some kind of like dynamic is developing that's sort of negative, you're paying attention.
Right.
So there's a quality of being paid attention to and cared about, and so you're kind of like constantly working on that, on keeping that going with your co-instructor.
And the kids are from ages 14 to 18.
14 to
right?
18.
And it could be any gender split, any background, any between that age group on
Absolutely.
any particular trip.
Yeah. And that's also the magic. That's for sure my favorite part about running a Sea School trip or being involved in one is the mix of ages and the mix of backgrounds, for sure.
Okay.
There's been no showers, there's no outfits, there's not a whole lot of status symbols on the
Right.
boat. That's the other thing.
Right. Yeah, no cell phones, no nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like ultimately like teenagers don't want to be lonely.
Right.
And guess what? You're not lonely on that boat.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure.
And there's not enough people and not enough space for there to be really cliques in a major way.
Right.
So I think that's just such a relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Such a relief. And, you know, like, how that relates to mindfulness exactly is, I think, like, that what's amazing about, I mean, I would make the connection between mindfulness and basic goodness, which is that, like, the point of being mindful is to recognize how basically good the most ordinary things are. And if you think of yourself as totally ordinary and then therefore think that you're not worth much, it's great to be in an environment where you're suddenly allowed to just kind of like exist and shine in your sheer simple existence.
Where have my eyes taken me now? Hand to stone, head to bow. For what I cannot pay. This mountain's tall, this path you lay. You are much older.